good to anyone, but continuing to fight would only lead to the complete destruction of his fleet. With a heavy heart, he gave the order that would change galactic history forever. Signal our surrender, he said quietly. Tell the humans we yield. The battle was over in less than 2 hours. The mighty hegemony fleet that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries lay in ruins around Earth's orbit. Most of their ships were destroyed or crippled, and their surviving crews were now prisoners of the humans they had tried to conquer. Captain Morrison stood on the bridge of Zul-Kaneth's captured flagship, looking down at the defeated alien commander. The creature that had planned to destroy Earth now knelt before a human captain, his proud spirit broken by the devastating defeat. "My commander," Jake said to me, "you are now a prisoner of war. Your empire's aggression against Earth has failed, and your fleet has been destroyed. Do you have anything to say?" Wilson looked up with eyes full of shame and fear. "How?" he asked simply. "How did you defeat us so completely?" "Because you underestimated us," Jake replied. "You saw primitive humans and thought we would be easy. Pray, but you forgot that survival makes a species strong, and Earth has been teaching us to survive for millions of years." News of the hegemony's defeat spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On Nexus Prime Station, the Galaxy Council gathered in emergency session to discuss what this meant for the future of galactic civilization. The impossible had happened. A species that had been dismissed as primitive had defeated one of the galaxy's greatest. Military Powers Dot Ambassador Helen Clark stood before the assembled representatives, representing humanity for the first time in galactic politics. She was a calm woman with silver hair and intelligent eyes, a diplomat who had spent her career preparing for first contact with alien civilization, but she had never imagined it would happen like this. Honored members of the Galaxy Council, she began. Humanity comes before you not as conquerors, but as a species that was forced to defend itself against unprovoked aggression. We seek peace, but we will not hesitate to defend ourselves against any who threaten our will. Elder Vorthak stood slowly, his ancient frame showing the weight of his years. The Council recognizes the sovereignty of Earth and offers humanity full membership in our assembly. Your species has proven itself capable of both great destruction and great restraint. We welcome you as equals in the galactic community. The vote was unanimous. Humanity was now a major power in galactic politics, respected and feared by species that had ruled the stars for millennia. The primitive species from the Death World had changed everything, and the galaxy would never be. The same God Ambassador Textara sat in stunned silence, his dreams of easy conquest shattered forever. The hegemony was broken, its fleet destroyed, and his reputation ruined. Other species that had once feared them now look to humanity as the new power in the galaxy. "This is not over," he whispered to himself. "Someday we will have our revenge." But Elder Vorthak heard his words and shook his ancient head. "No, my friend, it is over. The age of conquest has ended, and the age of cooperation has begun. The humans have shown us that even the mightiest empire can fall to a determined enemy. Perhaps it is time for all of us to learn from their example." On Earth, Admiral Carter stood on the observation deck of her command center, looking up at the stars through the transparent dome above her head. The war was over and humanity had won. But she knew that this was only the beginning. Earth was now part of a vast galactic community with all the opportunities and challenges they brought. "What happens now?" asked Colonel Patterson.
Get outside, little balls. What would we do for...
The look up made a serious mistake. The first one I got that was super dumb on purpose was I love to bone. And this one I've always loved. I have a small whiner. Took me 3 days to realize that's misspelled. I've actually got 3 different tattoos. The flying one, this prison love, and then of course the good graph. Oh, here's my off-road tattoo from the first Jackass movie. And this I carved in with a butcher knife on the Howard Stern show. This one is the logo of a bar I used to hang out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have more dumb tattoos than I can even remember. We were in Thailand, and we went to go get the same tattoo as Angelina Jolie from the same Holy Man. This old dude just had this long skewer, and he was just like poking me with it like that. And then when we left his spot, everybody in the band starts cracking up over how it would be way funnier to get Angelina's Billy Bob tattoo from when she was married to Billy Bob Thornton. So I took care of that right here. And of course there's myself on my back, which is only one of 3 self-portraits I have, because here I am as a baby, and here I am as a cartoon, and I never liked that one, just so you know. This next one was so over the line. Okay, it was 2006, and I was getting with my buddies, and we're talking about how we never wanted to have kids, or at least I felt really strongly about it. So I said, okay, I'll get a tattoo.
Uh-huh. Oh, uh, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I am Papa Dragon. You are at Papa Dragon's Zombie Survival. Oh. Yes, I have found a new game, so we are going to. Well, it might not be old. It might be one of those. Ooh. Uh. Mobile games that they put on PC. So. And away we go. That's all right. Gotta play, I think, 2 or 3 of these before I can actually adjust the sound on it. Where are we stationed at?
This is an emergency situation.
Here we go. Shadows, blood, sound. Okay. Looks like the music itself. Or the sound. It's not gonna let me do that. Let's see. Ooh. That's loud as shit. I hope it ain't too loud for you guys. I just turned it down on my headset. Cue. Yeah. Oh, money. It's gonna cost money. We're gonna go back. Okay. So far, so good. Ooh. Where's my other one? So far, not too bad. It's a point and clicker. Press radar button to detect zombies and secret boxes. Okay. Oh. We screwed that one up. Don't care. Okay, we got survivors. Log in daily to earn rewards. Okie dokie. We gotta upgrade our weapon. What do we got? Oh, we got definitely enough. Wait for this up. Alrighty. Time to go back. And time to go hunt down some more zombies. I don't have my whole setup going tonight, so anybody that's in the chat, I am so sorry. I do appreciate you coming in and lurking. I hear you. I really do appreciate you coming in and hanging out. No, thank you. Okay, that means we gotta spend money, and we don't spend money. Oh, Lord have mercy. Now, what have I told you about being on my desk? This, ladies and gentlemen, is Lillian. She a freaking crack baby. And she's a motorboat. Motorboat, motorboat, motorboat. You ready? You wanna watch? Oh boy. You're gonna have to move, right? Oh, we could get it. Wait. Are you serious? Okay. We're back. Hey, we can get all our upgrades done. See, there we go. She's following that arrow for the mouse. Horde. Power 45. Cancel. So we'll have to earn some money. I heard you. Where are you going? No, you're not getting on my laptop. Not even supposed to be on my desk. Captain Morris, Alpha Response Unit Field Report. We received special suits for the response unit. All soldiers were being monitored from Central. I don't know how, but we lost them one by one inside there. The suits did not protect them. I couldn't get my men out of that hell. Only Corporal Roberts managed to reach the extraction unit, but he was no longer himself. Yeah. Helicopter mission. Look, get out of the camera. Bring on the zombies. Zip line down to the building. Alright. I hear you, you bastard. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Tag, you're it, bitch. Let's see. Power. Speedy zombie. Oh shit. That wasn't a headshot. It was just a little fast. Party zombies. Oh no, we're out of. Oh shit. That's right. Back. Okay. Well, it looks like we're done with this one. Killing zombies requires energy. Your energy will automatically recharge 1 unit in every 4 minutes. But we can't wait around for that mess. Alright, that's one new zombie game down. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I found some more. Don't know how good they're gonna be. +2, I'd have to reinstall them. So what we're gonna do while we're waiting, we're gonna go to our Fallout shelters and see how bad we have messed up by not going to them in a week. Vault list. Oh no. Everybody's dead. Ooh. We got a new guy. Step up, big boy. Let's see where we're gonna put you. Here, 2. 1. Oh, Lord have mercy. All 6 are dead. Oh, no. What the hell? Oh, we got enough to bring them back. Thank God. Get your ass back home. Get your ass back home. Get your ass back to the house. Run home, Karen. Gotta remember, everybody, no, not everybody has been I'll say everybody here should have a gun. Yo, Billy Bob. Get your butt in here. Right. Die, bitch. Come in my house again. My people will fuck you up. Anybody else getting leveled up? What are you doing? Oh, you're in the radio station. Oh no, the power's going out. Okay. Aha. Of course you would. All right, bitch. All right, how long can my people get back? 1 hour. 2 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. 5 hours. Look, y'all are stupid. We ain't sticking around this boat that long. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Ain't that a shame? Hey, doll. How's it going, boss? I'm here now. Let me go ahead and get you your shout out. Like I said, I don't have everything up and running tonight. So if I miss you in the chat, please forgive me. As of right now, I do have my Discord channel. If you want to jump into the voice chat, be my guest. He's an L. You're good. Hey, back out. Looking for people that got to level up. Ooh, you're -2, huh? -2. -2. Good God. Damn. Well, guess what, bitch? Take your ass into storage. Oh no! I know these guys have all got guns. Far down you guys will penetrate. They penetrated pretty damn hard. He ain't got a gun. He got a gun. Yeah, I could have swore everybody in here's got a gun. Or they should have one anyway. Did we not have anybody go out? Where's your ass supposed to be? Okay, how many we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 6, 3, 6. Okay. What else can we build? Nuclear reactor. Where did oh boy go? Where are you supposed to be at? You're an S. Yeah, you're supposed to be in the power plant, so we're gonna stick your ass right there. Yo, hey, yo. Where the fuck are our people? His EMP is like, his P is a way, way higher. I ain't worried about them raiders. He's an E. See, his E and L are like damn near max, but I've got him. No, she's supposed to go ass back over here. You two work together. This bitch go down here, where she's supposed to be. why can't you do that? Okay, fine. Take your ass back down there. Where are you going? No, bitch. You're gonna do an S job. You need to. No S. Now where are you going? Back over there. Where are you going? Okay. What the fuck? Bitch, what are you supposed to be doing? Take your ass to sea. Go get your ass knocked up. Where the fuck are you going? Hello. Ain't nothing like a won't be long now before we got another baby. I didn't tell you go nowhere. I was just seeing what the fuck are you two doing? Well, I do that. Alrighty, so they're all at 87%. Happy. Happy, joy. Going back to vault 100. Ding dong, the bitches dead, the wicked witch, the wicked witch. Daily report. We are at a B. We're not waiting for all those guys to get back. Good loud. Hit the floor. Don't we have those? Yep, got all three of them. The Raiders. Okay, everybody got a gun. Oh, it's a breach. No, get your ass back in there. You're about dead as it is. Would you just fall over dead already? I like it. Alright, and that outfit that we just got was... I think it's that one. Yep. Ugh. Oh, that's got a +2, so we'll give that one to Leon. Cat, what are you doing? Oh, I'm about ready to strangle this crack addict. He is now chasing her tail. That's S-A-I-E. We're out of guns for right now. Sorry. Good grief. Alright, well, now that we're done with that one. And we'll check back in on our shelters later. Really do appreciate the alert there, though. Glad to see you. I've had a busy few days. I'm tired. I'm trying to get at least 2 hours. And it looks like I might just make one this time. I have to make it up to you guys tomorrow night, possibly. Let's go see what other new zombie games I've got that we can possibly download quickly. Don't know. Let's go back to the hunter. We should have... Yes. The rifle is good. Go back to campaign. Damn it. We suck. Nah. Got enough to do one more, huh? See ya, bitch. Play again. Alright. There we go. Even though that was off. Well. 10 gold bars, huh? Sorry. Don't have it. Oh, I think I've actually played that. Believe it or not. He's playing Dune. Well, if we wait here for another 50 seconds, give me time to get a drink. Yep. Been having some fun here lately. Not really. I did bust my record for tips at the bar the other day. Made $125, I think it was. Adding it all up, I just added Venmo. I had a $50 and a $40 Venmo tip, which was crazy. I'm glad they were drawn. Let's see. Actually, that's $18.50. Gonna be 9 minutes. Oh, we got it right over her shoulder. That was good. That was a good one. And we're out of energy. So I've been finding, I guess that was like a, not sure. I'm gonna do a quick install of this one, see what happens here. I think we're gonna make about an hour, hour and a half tonight. I know it's a late night. I gotta go scrub down and everything for the mission for tomorrow. Do 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 do. I wanna rock and roll all night. Undead World free to play. I don't know. I may go to YouTube and pull up one of the zombie stories and let y'all listen to that while I go wash down. About time. Let's see what we got here. Select the movement type. Ooh, I can plug the joystick in. So let's plug the joystick up. If I can find the hole. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Secondary Hole. That's not you, is it? Controller is too supported. Don't give me that bullshit. Well, it's showing. What the fuck? Okay, you go down. Epstein. Haven't started the game yet. Can you see anything now? Real quick. Aha. Full screen. Now I don't have my, well, I can fix that real quick. How much charge I got on my phone? Well, maybe this will work for a little bit. Da, 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 da. Welcome, Papa Dragon, to your own fucking chat room. Oh, I didn't show you the last game? Huh. We'll have to figure out what's going on with that. Rooter. How about oh, too many S's. A. How about Sazba Mud? Sadba Mud. Ooh. They look so freaky. Wow. Okay. We're not going to talk about that one. Yes, we can tell. This is old. How about splits? That'll work. Scouts specialize in range weaponry and combat accuracy. Primary attribute is offense. Adapts have natural ability in casting though. Brute, it's hack and slash. Fuck it, we're gonna beat your ass. Okay, this is supposed to have controller ability. At the height, okay. When darkness invaded the world in the last age, people abandoned the surface. Empyrean was their only refuge. Now the age of humanity is ending. Empyrean is crumbling. Okay. Some, in desperation, flee to the surface, hoping to survive without protection of the city. But no one returns from the surface. Most die or go missing. A few hide and survive for a while. Surface dwellers cling to hope. There's always hope. Alright, come on. Alright, looks like that ain't gonna work. Which, that's fine. I've got other games that the controller works for. Skeleton with note. Welcome to the lands of the exiled. Allow me to go over a few things. Click on the arrow to continue. Your health, mana, and experience points are displayed in the top left of the screen. I'm going to say the red is blood, the blue is mana, and experience points are the ones below. In the top right is a map of your current location. On the bottom of the screen is your action bar. Here you have quick access to your most used abilities. Mana potion. Shoot. Piercing shot. The long menu will allow you to move around. Hey, okay. ADWS. Okay, left mouse, good luck. don't know what I'm doing. Just now finding this gate. Now this is supposed to be... Ooh. Udana, Udana, metalworker, talk, why not? Greetings, stranger. It's not often that we have people come here from the west. I see that you're carrying a weapon. Would you be interested in helping us? Go on. One of our encampment residents, Crowlin, works in a nearby mines. He supplies me with various gems that I craft into jewelry. Crowlin has not returned in some time, and I'm starting to think the worst. Could you please travel to the mines and look for Crowlin? I will find some way to reward you for your trouble. Please hurry to find Crowlin. The perdition mines are located near the salted field. Okay. The hell? Alrighty then. Those whose names are written here in grave blue ink are admitted passage to the trial of redemption. No treasures? Alright, I have no idea what I'm actually supposed to be doing. This is supposed to be zombies. But alright, where'd I go? Like I said, do not ask me what the hell I am doing. Okay. That's a little weird. That might be coming installed going into like a D&D thing. So that's what it reminded me of. Oh, I think we might do a zombie bedtime story for the last hour. I am beat. Oh, how the hell is it? I don't want that big. Probably a 30-minute deal. What in particular fuck zombies? I don't know. Huh. Do, do, do. Oh. Boy, that Caitlin Clark shit's blowing up, ain't it? Let's see. See, it's supposed to have. Now we could do a 43-minute little zombie dead time story. Gives me a chance to go.
Please leave the name of the city you're listening from in the comments section below. It helps us see our reach in the community. Let's start the story.
I think
Listen
most of these
carefully.
are CGI.
What I'm about to tell you might be the
They're
only
not
truth you
CGI,
hear
AI
about what's
stories.
really happening out there. My name is Dr. Elias Brandt. I wasn't working on a cure. I was working on weapons. That's what my lab was built for. That's what I was paid for. When the outbreak started, they sent me the samples first. The delivery came at 6:23 a.m. on a Tuesday. I remember because I was still nursing my second cup of coffee when the black SUVs pulled up to the Meridian Research Facility. Through the reinforced glass of Lab 7, I watched 3 men in hazmat suits wheel in a cryogenic transport container. No badges, no small talk. Just rifles slung across their backs and eyes that never met mine. The lead courier handed me a manila envelope sealed with red tape. Inside, a single sheet of paper with classification stamps I'd never seen before. The instructions were simple: analyze, sequence, report. No questions. No delays. The samples contained biological material from field incidents in rural Pennsylvania. I'd worked with pathogens for 12 years, engineered bacterial strains that could survive in Arctic conditions, designed viral vectors that could deliver payloads directly to nerve tissue. But the moment I cracked open that first vial, I knew this was different. The tissue samples were gray-green, mottled with dark veins that pulsed under the microscope despite being clinically dead for hours. The cellular structure was intact, but the mitochondria had crystallized into geometric patterns I'd never encountered in any textbook. I ran the initial sequencing that afternoon. The results made me recheck the equipment 3 times. This wasn't a virus in any conventional sense. It was a complete genetic rewrite. Every cell had been transformed at the molecular level, restructured to serve a single purpose: sustain basic motor function while eliminating higher brain activity. The infected weren't sick. They were rebooted. By evening, I had the full picture. The pathogen didn't kill its host. It optimized them, stripped away everything except the brainstem and sensory processing, left behind something that could move, hunt, and consume without the burden of consciousness, pain, or fatigue. It was elegant in its horror. During my analysis, fragments of classified reports kept coming through on my secure terminal. The scope was staggering. This wasn't just Pennsylvania. Similar outbreaks were erupting simultaneously across the globe: London, Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Mumbai. The pattern was too coordinated to be natural transmission. Someone, somewhere, had triggered this deliberately. The intelligence reports hinted at a common thread: experimental medical treatments, cutting-edge gene therapy trials that had been fast-tracked through regulatory approval in the past 6 months. The patient zero remained unknown, but every outbreak cluster traced back to participants in these trials. Some revolutionary treatment had gone catastrophically wrong, and now it was spreading through contact with infected biological material. I was preparing my preliminary report when the building's emergency lighting kicked in. Red strobes bathed the lab in crimson as the security alert system crackled to life. Code black. All personnel report to designated safe zones immediately. Through the lab's exterior window, I could see chaos erupting in the parking lot. A maintenance worker was hunched over something on the ground, his shoulders jerking in rhythmic motions. When he looked up, his face was slick with dark fluid, and his jaw hung loose like a broken hinge. His eyes found mine through the glass, cloudy and vacant, yet somehow tracking my movement with terrible focus. The thing that had been the maintenance worker began shambling toward the building. I sealed the samples and backed away from the window, my hands trembling as I reached for the emergency phone. The line was dead. The facility's communication systems had been cut, leaving me isolated with my research and the growing sounds of mayhem outside. That's when I heard the first scream from inside the building. It came from the administrative wing, a high-pitched wail that cut through the concrete walls like a blade. Then another, and another. The facility was being overrun from within, and I was trapped in a room full of the very material that had caused this nightmare. I grabbed my research files and the remaining samples, stuffing them into a containment case. Whatever was happening, I needed to preserve my work. As I worked, I could hear footsteps in the hallway outside, slow, dragging steps punctuated by soft thuds against the walls. The lab door was reinforced steel with magnetic locks, but through the small window, I could see shapes moving past. One paused directly outside, pressing its face against the glass. It had been Dr. Erin Orantes from the pathology department. Her lab coat was torn and stained with something dark, and her left eye socket was empty, weeping thick fluid down her cheek. But her remaining eye focused on me with that same terrible clarity I'd seen in the maintenance worker. She began pounding on the door with both fists, her mouth opening and closing in silent screams. The magnetic lock held, but more figures appeared behind her. 5, then 8, then too many to count. All of them former colleagues, now transformed into something that barely resembled humanity. The pounding grew more frantic, and I realized they could sense me inside. Whatever cognitive function remained was entirely devoted to locating and reaching living tissue. They pressed against the door like water filling a container, their combined weight making the frame groan. I needed a way out, but the lab had only one exit. The ventilation system was too narrow, and the windows were sealed for contamination control. I was effectively buried alive with my research while the facility filled with the infected. That's when I remembered my backup plan, the one project they'd forbidden me to pursue. 3 months earlier, I'd proposed a radical solution for biological warfare cleanup. You engineered bacterium that could rapidly break down neural tissue while leaving other organs intact. The military had classified it as too dangerous and banned all research. But I'd kept my preliminary notes hidden in an encrypted drive. The bacteria was designed to be a neural scavenger. It would systematically consume myelin sheaths and synaptic connections, essentially eating the brain from the inside out at an accelerated pace. Within hours, it would reduce complex neural networks to liquefied tissue, completely destroying the infected's ability to function. It was designed to be fast-acting and highly targeted. Against normal humans, it would be an unspeakable atrocity. But against the infected, who relied on primitive neural pathways to function, it might be the only weapon that could stop them. The concept was simple. If you can't cure the infection, destroy the infrastructure it needs to operate. Let the bacteria devour their brains faster than the virus can sustain them. As the pounding intensified and the doorframe began to crack, I made a decision that would haunt me forever. I retrieved the hidden drive and began uploading my forbidden research to the lab's main computer. If I was going to die here, at least someone might find a way to use my work. The upload was at 40% when I heard a new sound, the sharp crack of splintering wood. The doorframe was giving way, pieces of metal and plastic falling to the floor as the infected pressed harder against the barrier. 55%. The magnetic lock sparked and failed, leaving only the physical integrity of the door between me and the growing crowd of infected. Through the chaos, I could see more figures shambling down the hallway, drawn by the commotion. The entire facility had become a feeding ground. 70%. The door buckled inward, creating a gap just wide enough for grasping fingers to reach through. Pale, bloodied hands clawed at the opening, trying to widen it enough for bodies to follow. The smell of decay and chemical preservatives washed over me as more infected crowded against the entrance. 85%. One of them managed to squeeze an arm through the gap, its fingers twitching as they searched for something to grab. I pressed myself against the far wall, clutching the containment case with my samples. The upload bar crawled forward with agonizing slowness, while the door continued to fail. 92%. The door gave way completely, and they poured into the lab. I scrambled onto a lab bench as hands reached for my legs. The first one to reach me had been Dr. Jeever from virology. His throat had been torn open, exposing gray tissue beneath, 98%. I kicked at grabbing hands while keeping one eye on the computer screen. Almost there. Almost finished. If someone could find this research, they might have a chance to develop a real weapon against the infected. 100%. Upload complete. Just as the final file transferred, strong hands seized my ankle and yanked me down into the swarm of infected colleagues. But before their teeth could find my flesh, I heard a new voice cutting through the chaos. "Get down now!" Automatic gunfire erupted from the doorway as someone in military gear opened fire on the infected. Bullets tore through decaying flesh and shattered bone, but the infected barely reacted to the impacts. They turned toward this new threat with their characteristic vacant stare, leaving me momentarily forgotten in the corner. "Dr. Brandt, move your ass!" I looked up to see a figure in full combat gear motioning frantically from the hallway. Behind him, more soldiers were systematically eliminating the infected with precise headshots. Whoever they were, they knew exactly how to stop these things. I grabbed my containment case and dove through the crowd of distracted infected, their hands grasping at empty air as I rolled past them. The soldier grabbed my arm and hauled me into the hallway, where the tactical team was already establishing a defensive perimeter. "Dr. Paltrow, CDC Special Pathogen Unit," the soldier said, pulling off his helmet to reveal a weathered face and intelligent eyes. "We've been monitoring your research. We need to talk." As we moved through the facility toward the extraction point, stepping over the bodies of my former colleagues, Dr. Paltrow briefed me on the global situation. The outbreaks weren't random. They were coordinated releases tied to experimental medical trials. Someone had weaponized a treatment meant to save lives, turning it into a tool for mass transformation. "Your neural bacterium research," he said as we reached the exit. "We're going to need that. It might be the only thing that can stop this before it spreads beyond containment." As we stepped into the chaos of the outside world, I realized my nightmare was just beginning. The samples in my case might hold the key to understanding the infection, and my forbidden research might be the only hope for developing a weapon against it. But first, we had to survive long enough to put that knowledge to use. The extraction helicopter landed in what used to be the parking lot of Jefferson Memorial Hospital, now serving as a makeshift CDC field station. Through the aircraft's windows, I could see the full scope of the catastrophe unfolding. Entire city blocks were dark, emergency broadcasts flickering on abandoned televisions and storefronts, where the infected wandered aimlessly between overturned cars and scattered debris. The sight was worse than anything I'd imagined. Bodies lay twisted in the streets, some still twitching with residual nerve impulses, others completely motionless. Cars had crashed into storefronts, their drivers transformed mid-journey into something that no longer understood the concept of steering. A city bus sat sideways across Main Street, its emergency doors hanging open, dark stains covering the windows from the inside. The helicopter's pilot, a grizzled Marine named Torres, spoke without turning around. "Dr. Brandt, welcome to the last operational military base within 200 miles. Everything beyond this perimeter is considered lost territory. Dr. Paltrow led me through a maze of military tents and containment units toward a repurposed ambulance that had been converted into a mobile laboratory. Both of us wore full NBC suits, nuclear, biological, chemical protection gear that made every movement awkward and labored. The irony wasn't lost on me. We were going to fight this outbreak using the same type of vehicle that had initially spread it through medical transport. The field station buzzed with desperate activity. Soldiers in full hazmat gear patrolled the perimeter, while medical personnel in sealed environmental suits rushed between tents carrying sealed samples and classified documents. Everyone moved like astronauts in a toxic world, their breathing apparatus creating a constant symphony of wheezing. I could see the strain in their eyes through the face shields. They knew they were fighting a losing battle against an enemy that couldn't be reasoned with or deterred. "How much time do we have?" I asked as we ducked into the cramped workspace. "Based on current transmission rates, Maybe 18 hours before the eastern seaboard is completely overrun, Paltrow replied, powering up the lab equipment.
Man,
After that, it's academic. The military is already discussing nuclear containment options. The mobile lab was surprisingly well equipped. Centrifuges, gene sequencers, even a small bioreactor for bacterial cultivation. Someone had been planning for this possibility long before the outbreak began. As I unpacked my samples and connected my encrypted drive to their systems, Paltrow began reviewing my neural bacterium research. "This is remarkable work," he said, scrolling through pages of molecular diagrams. "A targeted neurotoxin that specifically attacks synaptic connections. But the delivery mechanism, how are you planning to deploy it?" I pulled up my original proposal on the lab's main screen. Aerosol dispersal was the initial concept. The bacterium is engineered to survive in atmospheric conditions for up to 6 hours. Plenty of time to saturate a target area. But we'd need to modify the strain to ensure it only affects infected neural tissue. Paltrow studied the genetic sequences I'd developed, his expression growing more intense with each page. The infected maintain just enough brain function to coordinate basic motor skills and sensory processing. If we can target those specific neural pathways while leaving higher brain functions intact, we could theoretically deploy it in populated areas without harming uninfected survivors, I finished. The bacterium would literally eat the zombie's brain from the inside out, shutting down their motor functions within minutes. He leaned back in his chair, processing the implications. "You're talking about biological warfare on a scale never before attempted. Precision targeting of specific neural tissue while preserving normal brain function. It's either brilliant or completely insane. Right now, I'll take either one," I replied, beginning to set up the bacterial cultivation equipment. Traditional weapons aren't working. The infected don't respond to pain, they don't feel fear, and they don't stop until their brain is completely destroyed. But if we can attack their nervous system at the cellular level, we turn their own biology against them. Paltrow nodded, already beginning to understand the elegance of the solution. But as I began explaining the true nature of what we were creating, I could see the horror dawning in his eyes. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a plague designed to combat another plague. The bacterial strain I'd developed was ruthlessly efficient, programmed to reproduce exponentially as it consumed neural tissue. In the right conditions, a single dose could theoretically spread through an entire infected population within hours. "The bacterial reproduction rate is the key," I explained, pulling up microscopic imagery of the organism in action. Each bacterium divides every 12 minutes when feeding on infected neural tissue. The exponential growth means that even a small initial dose becomes a massive colony within an hour. Paltrow's face went pale as he studied the data. "Jesus Christ, Elias. This thing could spread faster than the original infection. What happens if it mutates? What happens if it starts targeting normal brain tissue?" "That's why the targeting system is so critical," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "The bacterium is programmed to recognize the specific electrical signatures of infected neural tissue. But you're right. If it mutates, if the targeting system fails..." I didn't finish the sentence. We both understood the implications. We worked through the night, modifying the bacterial genome using CRISPR-Cas9 technology to create a more refined weapon. The original strain was too aggressive, designed to consume all neural tissue indiscriminately. But the infected operated on such primitive brain function that we only needed to target the lower brain structures they relied upon. The process was painstaking. Each genetic modification had to be tested and verified before moving to the next step. We couldn't afford any mistakes. A single error in the bacterial programming could result in a pathogen that attacked normal human brains instead of infected ones. "Look at this," Paltrow said, pointing to a microscopic image on his screen. "The infected neural tissue has a completely different electrical signature than normal brain matter. The virus has altered the cellular structure so dramatically that it's almost like a different organ entirely." I studied the readings, comparing them to samples from healthy brain tissue. The voltage patterns are completely inverted. Normal neurons fire at negative potentials, but these infected cells are operating in positive ranges. It's like they're running on a completely different electrical system. This discovery was crucial. If we could engineer the bacterium to respond only to positive electrical potentials, it would ignore normal brain tissue completely. The infected would be walking targets while healthy survivors remained protected. By 3 a.m., we had our first viable prototype. The modified bacterium, which we designated B47, was a marvel of biological engineering. It would seek out and consume the myelin sheath surrounding nerve fibers, but only in tissue that exhibited the specific electrical patterns associated with the infection. Normal human brains operated at frequencies that would repel the bacterium, while infected brains would draw it like a magnet. The beauty of this approach, I explained as we prepared the first batch for testing, is that it's self-limiting. Once the bacterium consumes all the infected neural tissue, it has nothing left to feed on and dies naturally. No risk of ongoing contamination. But even as I said it, I knew I was lying to myself. Nothing about B47 was safe or controllable. We were creating a biological weapon of unprecedented power, something that could potentially sterilize entire continents of infected life. The moral implications were staggering, but so was the alternative: the complete extinction of human civilization. Paltrow sealed a vial of the cultured bacteria, holding it up to the light. The liquid was clear and innocuous looking, but it contained the potential to end the nightmare that was consuming our world. We need test subjects, live infected to verify effectiveness. That wasn't a problem. The hospital grounds were crawling with them. We set up our field test in the hospital's former emergency room, now barricaded and converted into a containment area. Through the reinforced windows, we could see a group of infected that had been trapped inside when the outbreak began. They moved in slow circles, occasionally bumping into walls or each other without any apparent awareness of their surroundings. The sight was both fascinating and horrifying from a scientific perspective. These had been people, doctors, nurses, patients, visitors, all reduced to their most basic biological functions. They didn't communicate, didn't show recognition of familiar faces, didn't even seem to notice their own injuries. One still wore a doctor's coat, the name tag reading, Dr. Jennifer Walsh, Cardiology. But there was nothing left of Dr. Walsh except the shambling shell that wore her clothes. That one, I pointed to what had been a nurse, still wearing scrubs that were now stained with dried blood. Isolated from the others, perfect test subject. The infected nurse was typical of what we'd observed. She moved with the characteristic dragging gait, her head tilted, where the neck muscles had partially deteriorated. Her eyes were cloudy. No intelligence remained, just basic sensory responses and the driving need to feed. Paltrow loaded a tranquilizer dart with B47 and fired it through a small port in the containment wall. The projectile struck the infected nurse in the shoulder, delivering the bacterial payload directly into her bloodstream. We waited, monitoring her vital signs through remote sensors. For the first few minutes, nothing happened. The infected nurse continued her aimless wandering, showing no signs of distress or change in behavior. I began to worry that our modifications had been too conservative, that the bacterium wasn't aggressive enough to affect infected tissue. Heart rate is steady, Paltrow reported, watching the biomedical readouts. Brain activity is unchanged. Maybe we need a higher concentration. Then, at minute 7, she stumbled. It started as a slight loss of coordination, a barely perceptible wobble in her gait. But within seconds, it accelerated. Her left leg began to drag, then her right arm started twitching uncontrollably. The bacterium was doing exactly what we'd designed it to do, systematically destroying the neural pathways that kept her mobile. "It's working," I whispered, unable to hide my excitement despite the grim circumstances. The bacterial action is targeting the motor cortex first, then spreading to the sensory processing centers.
Gotcha.
By minute 10, she had collapsed completely. But what happened next was beyond our most optimistic projections. The other infected in the containment area began to react. They turned toward the fallen nurse with sudden interest, drawn by some chemical signal we hadn't anticipated. "Pheromone release," Paltrow muttered, checking his instruments. The dying neural tissue is releasing compounds that attract other infected. As we watched in fascination and horror, the infected began to feed on their fallen companion. But within minutes of contact, they too began to show signs of neurological breakdown. The B47 bacterium was spreading from host to host through direct contact with infected tissue. My God, Paltrow breathed, watching as the infected convulsed on the floor. It's transmissible. The bacterium is spreading through the population. The bacterial action was visible through our thermal imaging equipment.
Yep.
Hotspots in their brains were rapidly cooling as neural tissue liquefied and drained through their spinal columns. The process was surprisingly clean. No external bleeding, no obvious trauma, just the systematic shutdown of infected nervous systems. Within 15 minutes, all 7 infected in the containment area were dead. Truly dead. How long to produce enough for citywide deployment, I asked, already running calculations in my head. With our current setup, maybe 4 hours for a few hundred doses, but for something the size of Philadelphia. Paltrow ran calculations on his tablet. We'd need a full production facility, industrial-scale bioreactors. That's when we heard the explosions. The first blast shook the entire hospital complex, knocking equipment off tables and shattering windows throughout the building. Emergency alarms began wailing as the lights flickered and went out, leaving us in darkness except for the eerie glow of our battery-powered equipment. Contact. Multiple contacts approaching from all vectors.
No shit.
The radio crackled with urgent military communications. Estimate 400 infected converging on the facility. They've found us, Paltrow said, grabbing an assault rifle from a nearby weapons rack. The infected are drawn to electrical activity. All this equipment, the generators, we've been broadcasting our location like a beacon. Through the broken windows, I could see them coming. Not just a few stragglers, but hundreds of infected converging on the hospital from every direction. Their numbers were overwhelming. Some crawled along the ground with missing limbs. Others dragged themselves forward despite massive trauma to their bodies. Nothing stopped them except complete destruction of the brain. Jesus Christ, I muttered, watching the approaching horde. Where did they all come from? The city's been evacuated for days, Paltrow replied, checking his weapon. Every infected in a 20-mile radius has been wandering aimlessly, following whatever stimuli they can detect. Our power generators have been calling them here like a dinner bell. The infected moved with no coordination or strategy, but their sheer numbers made them terrifying. They pressed against each other as they approached, creating a solid wall of rotting flesh that stretched as far as I could see. Some still wore the clothes they died in, business suits, medical scrubs, even a few in hospital gowns who had been patients when the outbreak began. Suddenly, the radio erupted with coordinated military chatter. Razor 1-1 to base. We have eyes on the target. Dr. Brandt's location is surrounded, requesting immediate air support for extraction. Base to Razor 1-1.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to leave it for tonight. And I think we're probably going to pick up on that story first thing tomorrow. We come close to hitting it. I'm sitting here drifting off. It's a dead time story. That's what it's supposed to do, is put you to sleep. So, as always, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Those that just stop in to listen to the stories or see the games that are played or just hear me rambling. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, Epstein. And thank you, Dole. I appreciate it. Let's get going now. And let's see. Is there anybody that needs to be rated? Let's see. Is anybody on? By pre-chance. No. So, what are we gonna do? Wait a minute. Oh no. That didn't work either. Well, son of a biscuit eater. Well, since there's nobody on, I guess we are just going to call it a night tonight. Why was you paused? Oh well. And we're gonna get some new stream stuff going here too. As of tomorrow night, we will catch up, finish up the story. Once we finish that, we will jump into, let's see, may jump into we may just go into the Night of the Living Dead RV or VR. That looks like it might be a little fun. Maybe. But I really do appreciate everybody that stopped in. Appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to probably do some more new zombie stuff tomorrow. After we finish the story. So come back in tomorrow. We're going to try to do our normal time, about 8 Central Time. 8 Central Standard, I guess it is now. You little crack baby. Come here. Say hi. You see yourself? Oh, kitty. Kitty. Alright. As always, survival is living. Living is a dream. Really? Silly thing. But as always, survival is living. Living is a dream, people. Keep on trucking out there, guys. And as always, try to do something for somebody tomorrow. Much love, guys. See ya.